how to stop bedrotting on your phone and actually have real world adventures. Okay, I use the term adventure maxing just to clickbait you into clicking on this video, but I really hate the term and I think it's been overused, frankly. And, it reminds me of this meme. White people don't say hip hip hooray anymore. They just say, are you adventure maxing? Are you looks maxing? Are you money maxing? So, in today's video, we're basically going to go over how you can become a person who is totally alone, a person that does nothing really in the real world and is very lonely, to actually going out and getting real life adventures to improve your personality and stop rotting on screens. So this is what I imagine, a lot of you people are, or a lot of maybe not exactly you per se, but how to sort of advance and where you might be starting off from. The lowest point that you're starting off is a person who is constantly, distracted with screens and feels absolutely lonely and feels like they can't really have an impact in the real world. And we're going to show you how to correct this, right? So there is a world out there. The world is a big, big place, and there is so much wonder and there's so much amazing things for you to experience, for you to touch, for you to feel. There's just so much out there. We're like 8 billion people or 9 billion people now? I don't even know. But we're a lot of people, and the world is huge. The world is ginormous, and there's so many different cultures, so many different people that we don't even know of. But most of you spend your time like this guy, just constantly on the screen, and that's kind of your only world. And more people are just becoming the same. People have the same personalities, and just, we need to touch the world. We need to impact the world a little bit more. So this is for anybody who lives in a small, little town in America, for a person who lives in Shibuya, Japan, or somebody, this is also an image from Japan, but there's somebody who lives right in the nature next to a big old mountain, right? This is for everybody. This is going to apply to everybody. And this is going to be the copes that we're going to be talking about is for a lot of people who live in suburbs or dangerous areas or whatever. This still applies to you. This applies if you have no money. This applies if you have all the money in the world. This applies to everybody who is lonely right now, has nothing to do right now, is constantly on their screens right now, and how to change from that to actually impacting the world, okay? So this is not going to be some nostalgic baiting thing. Oh, back in the day, life was so amazing, life was so great, back in 2016, back in 2008, or whatever people will say. This is not going to be that type of video. This is going to be a proactive video, or you're actually going to impact the world and actually do stuff, real life activities. I know it sounds very, very scary to a lot of you people out there, especially you big League of Legends players. So what are the 3 big copes that I would imagine a lot of you will have making this video? And these are some of the copes that I had, and they kind of come in different stages, right? So the first one will be just the basic, practical thing is that I can't really travel. I can't really go on adventures. I can't do anything. And we're going to fervently debunk this, destroy this to absolute obliteration. And you will have enough time, you will have enough money, and you will have enough location. The second thing is I have no friends. So, a lot of you people will believe that if you have no friends, you can't actually do a lot of things in the real world. And we're going to fervently debunk this, destroy this, annihilate this to absolute oblivion. It's not productive. So this is the last stage of copiness. Is a lot of you, old Hamza enjoyers, a lot of you self-improvement people, which is amazing, by the way, which is great. It's great to be on self-improvement. But a lot of you folks out there who are sort of in that money-making space will believe that a lot of what I'm saying is useless. But no, it's actually not. It would actually teach you how to make more money and have a more impact in the real world. And when you eventually make that 10K per month or whatever type of money that you envision or whatever thing you imagine in your head, it will actually teach you to be more adapted with those resources. So it is a great thing to have. Even if you're doing nothing right now, even if you're the most sociable person right now, this all will be deeply, deeply valuable. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to debunk is I can't travel due to time, money, or I live in the ghetto, right? Or I live in like the worst place on planet Earth. Like I live in hell. All of this basically comes from perspective. So perspective is very brilliantly shown in this image, where you have this guy who's sort of looking at the mountains and looking at the amazing view that there could possibly have, and then this guy right here, who are on the exact same bus and have the exact same trip, is, you know, like shocked and distraught because he can't see anything and he doesn't have an amazing view. And I know this is very simplistic, around you who have the exact same resources as you, who look exactly like you, right? Who have the same height, same IQ, same face, same overall personality, but seem to have a lot more friends and seem to have a lot more stuff going on for them, you know? And this is just so fervently true. I think a lot of us are more similar than we would care to think. And except for maybe like height and maybe weight, beyond that, we're very, very much alike. Okay. So it's all about perspective. Even if you're morbidly obese, there's still a morbidly obese guy who's also going on plenty of adventures and everything like that. There's still an autistic guy, a socially awkward guy. They're still going on the exact same adventures that you are, probably in your same town, which is frankly ridiculous. So no more copes, okay? If you live in a poor neighborhood, if you live in like the ghetto, if you live in anywhere that isn't like amazing, you can still go on like, and you don't have any money to begin with, you can just go on to the steel mill. You can just go on for walks, right? You can just go on for walks in your neighborhood, or take your car, or take a bicycle, or take whatever. There's so many things available near where you are. You just lack a little bit of creativity and lack a little bit of direction. So you need to go on stuff. Nature is the best, but you can still go to like, crazy places like in your city, like that crazy little coffee shop or a parking lot, whatever gets you outside and whatever gets your sort of creative juices flowing. And this goes double. This goes triple, quadruple for anybody who lives in Europe. Okay? For anybody who lives in Europe, count yourself as one of the luckiest people on the planet, because literally you have stuff that is like 5,000-year-old buildings that are just like by your doorstep. Like you see the churches, like these churches took like 500 years to build and they're about 2,000 years old, right? And they're literally like right on your doorstep. And there's so much of this in any city in Europe that it's ridiculous. This applies a lot of this to America and other like South America and Asia too, obviously. But it applies triple to Europe because there's so much richness and so much, GDP or per capita richness in European countries that it's frankly ridiculous, and especially if you live in Italy and France, I just don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You should be ashamed. You should be frankly ashamed of yourself that you're still watching this video because there's so much stuff for you to do outside of it. And the other thing is about traveling is a lot of you say, well, I don't speak the language of the place that I'm traveling. Oh, I don't have, another thing is that if you live in Europe, I don't have enough money. It costs like 12 euros to go to like one city in Europe to the other, right? It costs nothing. It's so concentrated. It's not like America where like cities are like states, like a big city's like state, like you need to go pass through another state, which is like the size of a European city. In Europe, like everything is so concentrated that it's just so easy to get to and it's so cheap to get to. It costs like $50 to get an airplane flight to like France to Romania or something like that, or France to London. It costs like 50 euros, something ridiculously cheap. Same with buses. They cost nothing. They cost like 12 euros, like cost nothing. If you don't know what euros are, they're just like dollars, just a little bit more or a little bit less or whatever. No, a little bit more, I think. They're worth a little bit more. Also, if you speak English, which you probably are watching this video, unless if you're watching it with the subtitles or the AI version or whatever, or maybe I've been translated on Buzu, whatever it is, you speak English. And even if you don't speak English, or even if the place that you are doesn't speak English, You have a phone, so you will have the ability to translate any language in the world. You have Google Translate. You can get by ordering a pizza anywhere in the world. So that I don't want that to be an excuse either. A lot of you will say, "Oh, but that's a little bit like if you want to go someplace, you want to really appreciate the culture, you should learn the language." Yes, that is entirely true, but don't let that fact stop you from actually going to the world, because you can. You have the resources to go on adventures, and you fervently do. Okay, this is going to be the other one. Is I have no friends. Well, this is going to be brutally like honest, but maybe there's a reason why you have no friends, okay? And that is the fact that you are afraid, and you are afraid to do stuff by yourself. Okay, I want to repeat that. The probable reason why you have no friends is because you have a certain fear that you're unable to do stuff alone. And we're going to go back to this one, but we're going to start with this one, and then I'm going to go to this little section, and it's going to be very, very brutally like it's going to, if you have no friends right now, right? Or you don't have enough friends, or you don't have good friends, or you even have friends, but you want to make more, you're going to a new place or whatever. This is going to be the simple way to get friends, which is the most important thing. The most important resource you can have is the ability to meet other human beings, because human beings are social creatures, and our currency is being socially liked. The reason why Andrew Tate or you want that Lamborghini is because it will get more attention to you. So the ultimate resource is in humanity is ability to make friends or acquaintances or get people to like you. So this is very simple, okay? This is the simple formula. This is you, right? This is personality, and this is population, okay? So the better your personality is, right? Personality, it's very simplistic, but let's just say you don't have enough resources for your, have a serious, and like wealth being a serious impact or looks being a serious impact on whatever. We're just going to go with personality. The way you increase your personality points is by going on adventures, having stories, going through hardship, doing stuff that's difficult, right? This is why some of the most charismatic people are not just people who woke up one day, out of their brain rot in bed. It's because they actually studied something for a very long time, or they mastered something for a very long time. The reason why, let's say, Arnold Schwarzenegger is so charismatic, it's because he built muscles. It's because he became one of the top selling actors in the world. And it's also because he became the governor of California. He succeeded in politics. He succeeded in 3 domains. So obviously, you're going to listen to this person. You can do the same thing on a lower level by just going on more adventures and doing more stuff in your life. And that will just naturally increase your personality points. Okay? So think of the guy in the bar imagine the guy in like the old saloon with the straw hat and the big beard, and he's telling stories to the youngsters. The reason why he's so charismatic and so appealing, it's because he went on so many grand adventures and had the stories to tell. So you need to go. So in order to increase your personality points, you need to either do stuff, have a purpose in life, and go on adventures. Okay, so that's how you increase your personality. Population is just, it's just simple. It's just the people that you talk to. So going on adventures and traveling and going outside of your room will increase both of these things. Imagine you doom scrolling on the phone. The more and more that you doom scroll, the more and more that you reduce these things in your lifetime. So because you're on your phone, you have a shit personality because you adopt the personality of somebody else. And you also meet less people because you're not interacting with people. So if you go on adventures, you meet more people, so you'll have more population, and you also gain personality. So everything just becomes easier and easier the more and more that you go out. And that's how you meet people, and that's how you form social connections. The other thing that you want to know with you having no friends is you need to be able to do stuff alone. So it's almost paradoxical. You need to do stuff alone. You need to be the person who has no friends, right? You need to be the person who is alone in order to have more friends. So this is from a comic. Did I just say comic? I mean a Japanese. This is from a Japanese comic that I don't want to name because I think I'm going to spoil it or whatever. Basically, it says, "Do not shoot. If your heart is wavering, you will grow. Once more shall the gates leading to the new path open for you." Basically, what happens is that this guy, in order to defeat the enemy, which I'm not going to spoil, he needs to shoot himself, right? This is kind of what you need to do, or the brutal truth that you need to accept for you to defeat this sort of loneliness problem is you need to shoot yourself, meaning you need to be willing to get embarrassed. You need to willing to, face being alone, in a crowded group, watching a movie alone, going on a walk alone, going to the coffee alone, in order for you to meet more people. Okay? And I know it sounds very dramatic and very crazy the way that I say it, but it's just brutally simple. I like these stupid little examples, but it is just brutally simple of you going to a coffee shop alone. I know I say like with this whole dramatic air of you shooting yourself, and if your heart is wavering, if you are alone, but really it's just very simple. It's just you going to a coffee shop, a steel mill, or whatever, doing stuff alone. If you're having a little bit of trouble meeting people, I do have a community in my classroom, in my school community. I do have a community in my school community. And basically, we're trying to get away from technology as much as possible and just sort of create our own lives. And there's going to be a bunch. This is not ready right away, but there's going to be a bunch of cool guides. Also, my library of a bunch of tools that I use just to be away from technology as quick as possible. By the way, I am a productivity channel, sort of. This guy, he told me I'm in the productivity niche, and I never thought that I was in the productivity niche, but I actually am. I'm doing the most productivity niche thing in the world because being away from your phone, just eliminating social media will just make you more charismatic and more productive just by the get-go. Like, imagine like the most productive person in the world is just a person who doesn't have their phone. That's like 80% of the way to productivity. It's just deleting your phone. So actually, I am the most productive channel, the most productivity-based channel in the world, because if I eliminate this for a lot of people, it's just going to be the simplest way to get, to that sort of nirvana of productivity. You don't need any of these shitty like apps. I tried all the apps in the world. You don't need these fucking timers, these stupid little things, even though they do help. But the Pareto principle is just deleting social media, and then you're productive automatically. So that's going to be the third point, is that going on adventures, bruh, is not productive. It's not making me $1 million. Yes, that is true. But there is something in life called burnout. And I think burnout is like a spiritual thing. I think God put burnout into us because if we just overworked, then we would basically be worker ants. And we are much more than worker ants. We are human beings that need to do other stuff outside of work. So burnout can really screw you over because the more burnt out you are, the less productive you are. So a way to eliminate burnout is by going on adventures. And also some of the most, people who impact the world in the biggest way are people who actually interact with the world. As crazy as that seemed, the most disciplined people, the people that you view in such high regard, impact the world on a daily basis. Okay? So this doesn't necessarily mean, you need to go on an adventure every single day. This doesn't necessarily mean you need to go to Italy or you need to go to a brand new country every single day. That doesn't mean that at all. It just means from time to time, when you feel it, when your body is feeling like you've worked too hard, when you're actual like feel like your body's been working too hard, you can go on adventures. And this can be whatever like degree you want. But usually the typical thing is that if a person like works for like a very, very long time, so let's say like the person was like constantly like working on like a heavy project for let's say like 6 months or something, he'll then take a week, 2 weeks off and just binge, right? Binge going out for a long time. What I do is that I generally work for like 2 weeks on something really hard, and then I take a day off, right? Or I spend some time. So it's a little bit less, but it can be different towards different amount of people. But you need, at the end of the day, you need to be doing stuff outside, and you need to actually be impacting the world. Okay? This is another thing, is going on walks regularly. Editor me. So going on walks for long periods of time will actually impact your brain and leave you to create more fun and creative ideas for your business, for your art, for whatever. So it is truly a productive habit to go on walks and adventure max. So if all of this sounds really confusing with the friends like formula, with the adventure maxing, if this all seems very, very confusing, don't worry, we have a simple action item that will get you through the door and get you starting, which is the most important thing, and that's just to go for a 15-minute walk right now, okay? I'm not talking about tomorrow. I'm not talking about leaving it for another month or whatever, or putting it on your to-do list or saving this later, and I'm going to promise, I swear, bro, do it now, okay? I don't care what time it is, you know. Sorry, I dropped my remote. I don't care what time it is or what period of the day it is. Go out for a 15-minute walk right now. Or if you're in a position where you are, where you're in a position where, you're on a plane or whatever other position you're in, just putting it on as the next, literally the next thing that you do as soon as you land on ground or as soon as you have the ability to walk, okay? Go for a 15-minute walk, 15-minute jog, whatever. Just go out for 15 minutes. Just literally, if you're too lazy to actually go for a walk, just stand outside of your house for 15 minutes, okay? So that should be everything, and that is the video. So if you want to join the community, please do so. We're going to have a lot of guides just like this one, a lot more in-depth guides, 3-hour-long guides that are going to be coming. And it's going to be a great thing. They're not right there right now, but it's going to be a great thing, and you're going to have a great time if you go there. So thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next episode.